Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Brother Paul here. Happy Valentine's. If you don't know, this is the Lunch, Learn, and Pray podcast session. And I'm super delighted to be your host today. No special guests. Last week we knocked it out of the park, but this week is the one and only digital shepherd that is working at kingdom level to uplift the church into the digital realm that we currently live in. So good afternoon. We've got a full schedule today. So let me get my screen up and running for you. Hopefully everything is working fine, and it will all go smooth. So churchgoers, for those who don't know, we are, as I say, the thought leaders in digital ministry. And we are aspiring to empower believers to become digital evangelists and for conventional churches to be digitally empowered, I guess would be the term I'd use today. So that in a nutshell is what Churchgoers is about. We have an absolutely brand new spanking phenomenal platform that is now up and running. We're onboarding believers, we're onboarding businesses, we're onboarding churches onto the platform, and you can see the magic work at a kingdom scale. So I am super delighted that the vision is now reality. Today I'm going to be homing in a little bit on Valentine's Sunday. I'm going to try and do that at the end because mentoring churches. So mentoring is at the heart of the solution of churchgoers. So I'm going to give you a sneak preview of a presentation I'm going to deliver in person at Guernsey Road, New Testament Church of God, Guernsey Road, Herne Hill, for those of you who want to turn up in person. It starts at 10 o'clock and it goes into the heart of this platform, showing how mentoring is just going to elevate Christianity to another level if it continues to get the approval of the man himself and all those that support his ministry. We're also going to be previewing the quarterly magazine, which is out there. If you guys haven't seen it, we'll walk through the magazine and you'll see some of the powerful articles in there. And we are, I'm not going to show it to you today. I am sworn to secrecy, but we are launching a kingdom board game that illustrates the power behind churchgoers. And when you guys see it, you're gonna be kingdom players. Just by playing the game, you'll be a kingdom player. So super delighted to announce that to you today. But you know what? I'm not gonna leave out my operators, man. So let me start. Let's bless the house properly with a
Greetings and welcome to our Lunch, Learn, and Pray session presented by Churchgoers, the thought leaders in digital ministry, and community church. Today, as always, we start by blessing your lunch, followed by a multimedia presentation, and concluding with a Q&A section. Just a few housekeeping points to go through before we get started. Please stay on mute until we launch the interactive section. But in the meantime, do key your questions in the chat or use the Google form link provided. The session will be recorded, so you are welcome to switch off your cameras if preferred. But if you're feeling truly Christian, then key your name and church in the chat, and keep those emojis coming. Lastly, we thank NTCG Herne Hill for sponsoring the session today. I now have great pleasure in introducing the founder of Churchgoers, Brother Paul Johnson.
Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure, as I say, to be here. I'm going to try and flip over to the key topic today, and hopefully it will all go to plan. There you go. Right, so let me just...
Blessings. In today's rapidly changing world, churches face a unique challenge, bridging the gap between the skills needed to thrive and those our members and community possess. The Kingdom Skills Matrix addresses this challenge. By mapping out the diverse skills within church communities, We can identify areas of strengths and weaknesses, enabling us to empower mentors and allocate resources effectively, launch training initiatives, and foster a culture of continuous learning. To further enhance our impact, ChurchGOers has forged strategic partnerships with leading business and academic institutions. These collaborations enable us to deliver targeted, online training and mentoring programs. By equipping our people with the skills they need to succeed, we're investing in the future of the church. Ultimately, the Kingdom Skills Matrix empowers us all to unlock the individual and combined potential of our church and Kingdom members. Hebrews 10:24. Let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds.
Amen.
Amen. Look around.
Yeah, we will look around. Thank you very much there. You know what? The funny thing is, I've been up to the top of the church hierarchy, down to the bottom, and I can't find my kingdom operators. I don't want to embarrass no one, but I can't find any so I'm having to use AI as my kingdom operators. Everything I do now, I have to find a piece of AI that will do that for me and that will do that for me because no volunteers are coming forward. What? You're implementing something across the whole kingdom, yes? What, just you? No, me and God. So, they don't stretch out their hand. Well, can I help you with that? No. So it's me and AI and God, and we're on this. We're on this. Anyway, I'm going to go to the end of the presentation and then go back. I'm going to try that. It's probably not the right way to do it, but I'm going to go to the end because this is the vision. This is the vision that I had when the National Church Leaders Forum commissioned me to write a manifesto that addresses or delivers recommendations to the challenges experienced by UK churches, or at least UK Black churches. And I'm not going to go over the history of that, but suffice to say, we delivered a manifesto and then we delivered the platform to implement the recommendations, or as many of them that we could, from the manifesto. So churchgoers, was commissioned by the church. That's why I'm saying it's consecrated. It's being commissioned by the church and endorsed by God. Anyway, at the heart of it is mentoring. If you ask me what I do many things, but I most identify with being a mentor. That's how I give back to the community, how I give back to the church, how I give back to academia. Now, looking at this diagram, uh, you see two main circles, right? On the left-hand side is church, right? And the context of this is mentoring. And on the right-hand side, you have academia. And in the center, you have churchgoers. Now, I'm going to correct that slightly here and say, right, now the left-hand side represents all the elements of church where we are delivering mentoring as the solution to a lot of the challenges we face, but at the minimum, it's going to get us on a digital platform so we can evangelize online, so that we can mentor our youth to become whatever they want to be, and we can support them when they go off to academia. We can mentor businesses to be more effective within ministry and outside, and we mentor people engaged in digital ministry so that they can become kingdom operators. In a nutshell, this is my solution, right? Now, you see there, we've got the little village mentoring, right? If you're familiar with the proverb, it takes a village to raise a child, right? We added a bit on top of that to say, and the network to uplift the community. But basically, what we're saying is, if you're a believer, right, we're encouraging you, we're empowering you, we're uplifting you to be a mentor, to be not just a role model Christian that walks the walk, but a mentoring Christian that does a little bit of action on top of that. And the action we're talking about relates to that proverb. So whenever I use the term, I need you to be a mentor, I'm only referring to the concept of a village mentor, right? Which essentially is, if somebody approaches you within the kingdom and says, I want to be like you could be an electrician, a consultant, a business owner, but if they come to you and say, I want to be like you, be prepared to give them some nuggets as to how they can become like you, or how you got to where you got to. All right. So hopefully that is crystal clear. So I'll move myself back in my rightful place in the center of these two um, entities, right? So that's the church, and that's what churchgoers provide for the church. And I will show you it in reality. So this is the theory. I'll show you it in operation in the app today. On the right hand side, we have universities, colleges, academia, I call it, right? And as you guys know, when you get to a certain age, you go to university. Like it's almost compulsory now to go university, get your degree, and hopefully things will happen thereafter. So down the bottom here, they're the students that have hopefully come from church and gone to uni, and we're now supporting them. We're now providing a support network for them. Now, on the right hand side, you see interns and mentees. So at some point during their course, they will become mentees or interns or work placements. There's various um, programs that are set up by the universities that we partner with that give them the experience they need to go to the next step, which is employment, right? So where we come in is we voluntarily provide mentors to support that, or placement opportunities, work experience, call it what you want, but that's how we fit in. And when I say we, I mean the church. So I'm saying that when you start off as a village mentor, particularly if you're in business, right, we encourage you to go to the second step, right, which is, well, let me just see what this is. So stage two is we're encouraging you guys to support universities and supply a few hours a year to either give work placement opportunities or to mentor remotely. You don't have to go there in person, remotely, to support the youngsters to become whatever it is they're aspiring to become. I missed out stage one, and in terms of this slide, stage one is for businesses anyway. Stage one is you can promote your stuff on the platform, you can advertise on the platform, you can get support for your business across the whole entire kingdom. That's the power of this platform. You now can advertise, promote, and get support, be it monetary or otherwise. As I say, we have mentors lined up that will support you. In return, we ask you to reciprocate. In return, we encourage you to support the youths in the way that I just explained. Yeah, be a mentor to the youths, or be a mentor to any kingdom member that aspires to be like you. It doesn't have to be the youth. The most common mentoring scenario is youth to elders, but it doesn't have to be in that direction. Hope this is clear. If it is clear, let's go on to the final phase that you may wish to know, is that, well, some of you might know me, but for those who don't know me, I also run an association, and that association, um, it's an association of mentors. So there's like 100 mentoring organizations in the UK that come under that association. Now, their main challenge is getting mentors into their system, into their pipeline. So I said, all right, I'm going to introduce a stage three. So when people understand the power of mentoring that no one else in the kingdom is using, they're going to be as addicted to it as I am. So stage three is we will help you to find a mentoring organization that you want to be affiliated with. And however you support that mentoring organization is down to you. I'm just saying mentoring works. It's very powerful, and it is my solution to a lot of the challenges that the church and indeed the country experiences today. Um, did I miss anything out? I don't think I missed anything out. You see, their career fairs are highlighted as well. So once we get businesses on our platform, once we get more momentum on the partnerships we're forming in university, then we will be hosting or co-hosting career fairs. So to the problem of 88% of graduates not returning to church, if you've logged into previous broadcasts, you know that I love quoting that figure because I, for one, am not having it, right? This is our response. This is our solution. This is our package that we're offering students. We will host career fairs where employers will be available for you to discuss your CVs, to discuss opportunities they have, and hopefully to act as a catalyst for you to get jobs. You're not going to want to leave church that does all this for you. We're talking about implementing training, mentoring, and career mentoring into the scope, the breadth of services that are offered by churches. Okay, let's go. Let's go back. Hopefully that's crystal clear. If it's not, come to the come to the presentation that we're having at New Testament Church of God Herne Hill. It might be standing room only, but anyway. All right. So the how can I put this? The the solution is facilitated by a skills matrix. Right. Skills matrix. Let me show you how you see the world, right? So, or when you go into church, this is what you see, right? Or this is what a typical Christian sees, right? Especially if you go to a Pentecostal church. Nothing wrong with that. But because I work in the digital world, I kind of see things differently from the average church, or the average church goer. It's like my mindset is different. It's not analog, it's digital. So I kind of see the world differently. I have a slightly different mindset, and I have just a different perspective on things, which is why I can build these things and why I can give these presentations. It's like, well, I'm showing you how I see the world, right? So this is church. What you see, all these people are church, but I see them demographically. So it's split between people who have got trade, sitting in the pews, sitting on the benches, but on Monday to Friday, they're tradespeople. And then we got professionals sitting in the pews, but Monday to Friday, they're professionals sitting in offices wearing suits. And then you've got the entrepreneurs who are out there, you know, doing their thing. And of course, we talked about academia and then the students, right? This is how I see church, especially with regards to how do we solve the problems in our church, all right? Okay. So let me highlight the point to you. So if I ask Bishop, what does he see in his church? This is what he will describe: a church council, youth department, men's department, women's department, blah blah blah. And that is nothing wrong with that. That is his perspective of what he sees. But I have a different perspective. That's in addition to what he sees. This is what I see. And the point I'm making is when you see what I see, you see more value, or you see the value that's manifested in itself. So what I'm saying is all these different people with all these different skills that up until now does not get exploited in a church. All right, so let's zoom in on the demographics, right? Zoom in on the demographics. Where's my slide? Here we go. So we have elders, seniors, up and coming, next gen, and youth. So from an age point of view, that's how things are spread. But when you dig a little bit deeper, some of these people have got diplomas right up to PhDs. Surely we can make use of that. Some of these people work in technology, business, finance, healthcare. Some have expertise across the board, and some have occupations that I can't even spell or pronounce some of those occupations that some of them have. So when you add up all of the value of all the resources that sit in there in the church but not being used by the church. And my definition of the church is the people, not the institutions. Churchgoers is very careful to stay in our lane. We do not interfere with the church organization, the institution. We're not running a church, we're not even a movement. We are mentoring the church, the believers, and the business owners who love God. We're adding to what's there. We're not interfering with what's there. So Imagine now that I collect all this information from you and render it on a platform. You as an individual are now in a position to be mentored, right? So a typical scenario is, here's a youth, I can go to a senior, you know, and what's he going to do for me? He's a bookkeeper, right? So why do I become a bookkeeper? You know, or, I could go over in this direction. All right. Well, that person hasn't listed their skill. I'm a business consultant. Well, tell me how I go about starting a business. All of a sudden, the people sitting on your bench, you can see the value of them sitting in your bench. Before, all you could see was a person and a Bible. Now you see kingdom value. Kingdom value. In numerical terms, if you have 100 people in your church, this platform makes your church 100 times 100 more powerful than it was before you saw this presentation. That's 10,000 times more powerful, purely because you can now see the value that's in the kingdom. 10,000 times more powerful. That's just within your church. The app is kingdom, is a kingdom solution. So imagine what the number is for your district or your organization or the kingdom as a whole. I can't even pronounce that number. Very powerful solution. Let me let me shall I just quickly show. All right, let me just quickly clarify. You don't have to go right to left. So it's not necessarily the youth being mentored by the elders. Anybody can get mentored by anybody. In fact, it's very common for the elders to go to the youth and say, teach me social media. Well, I wouldn't say it's very common, but it's an option, right? If like you don't understand social media and you want to get onto, I'm only going to mention LinkedIn because I'm not talking and ticking, right? You can go to the youth and say, give me a demo of what you do for 3 hours a day, because apparently they spend 3 hours a day on TikTok or Instagram. Hopefully, this is making sense to you guys. The value that's in your church. It's been there for 2,000 years. My app, our app, now gives you the ability to exploit that. Think of Trust the Trader, right? Think of Trust the Trader. You don't need to go that route anymore. All right. It's like you have it in house. All right, let me try and destroy all kind of. I'm going to go into the app now and show you how that's rendered. So basically we have a form. It takes 90 seconds to fill in. And it captures that information, that demographic information that you saw there, your qualification, what industry you work in, what your occupation is. And it renders that in the component where we have mentoring. So I'm going to show you what my church looks like. If you're not familiar with this app, ChurchGOers, the app, it does a lot of things, but it renders an app for every church. And in that app, you can see rotas and your daily schedule and your notices. Today, we're focusing in on mentoring. So it will show you, first and foremost, it will show you all the training programs that we've got lined up for you in the technology in the business area, right? So if you need to understand digital, and based on the survey I've taken so far, a lot of people would appreciate some more awareness, some more training on that. We provide all that for you free. We're working with other organizations, and we're doing our own content. And as you can see here, we've already got a reasonable list for you to go into, and you just click it and it's self-study, free of charge. Go on those courses and you will be delivering, you will be kingdom operators. You'll be kingdom operators. But as you see here, right, in addition to the training, you have a list of mentors that are registered on the platform. And when I say mentors, they're really just people who have signed up, but because they have skills and because they have indicated that they're happy to relay those skills to anybody that is interested, right, that makes them a mentor, right? So we have technicians, scientists, teachers, social workers, nurses. We have the full range. And let me see if I can find someone who's really I really want to pick. But anyway, all right, let me show you the filter because the demographics, the easiest way to navigate it is to use the filter button, right? So with the filter button, you can see what sector they work in. So if I want to link up with someone from business, there you go. A click and it narrows down the people who are qualified in business. If I want to only speak to people with a degree, right? Or you know, let me just really narrow it down. So PhDs, right? PhDs. See, we've got PhDs in the house, right? And we've only just started collecting this. This is just from one church. I'm coming around to your churches soon, but this is just from one church. So imagine if I want to see if there's anyone in the house that's experiencing project management. You get the idea? You give me your expertise, what industry you work in, what qualifications you got. That's the kryptonite behind mentoring because you're trying to pull the next person up based on the experience, the knowledge, and the wisdom you've gained. Very, very powerful concept. All right. Um, let me stay. I mean, I've got so much to show for you guys today, and I've got something on that means I can't deliberate. So I just wanted to give you guys an indication of what mentoring does. The heart of this platform, it does a whole load of other things, but the thing that's in my heart is the mentoring. Is the thing that will solve problems is the mentoring. The thing that adds value to your church and you as an individual is 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 mentoring. 97% of the Fortune 500 companies, the top 500 companies, all invest in mentoring. I have no idea why no one else uses it to elevate their people, their community, their organization. But I, for one, am the chief ambassador for mentoring in churches and will be around your church soon, particularly if you help. If you help. All right, let's let's move on because we're kingdom operators. We only got a small time to talk today, and I did promise I was going to show you the quarterly magazine. Right, it's on your screen. Digital ministry. Okay, so this is a flip book. Depending on how you access it, there's a PDF version and a flip book version. If you've got the PDF version, you just need to click here or there, and it will animate itself for you. So definitely read what I've got to say down here. It's talking about our roadmap and all the things that we've got planned for the year. If you've missed it, we launched an initiative for our testimonies bring hope. So we're going to create an anthology book, and that will be a collection of testimonies from kingdom operators or Christians, and that will bring more people into the kingdom because a testimony is something you've overcome through the grace of God and mercy, and someone else is going to be in that situation, and they're gonna they're gonna want the same solution, which is come into the kingdom. All right. So this is our digital roadmap. Just see if I can zoom in a little bit for. So there's a number of articles that I've written, and this one basically talks about our roadmap and gives you an illustration. On the left hand side, it's basically describing the services that we offer. We call it the Kingdom Directory because it's not just a directory of churches. All right, we have a directory of training courses. We have a directorate of mentors. We have a directory of food banks, directory of warm spaces. And that list is just going to keep growing. I'm telling you, we are going to be bringing people into the kingdom. All right. It's our solution. Now here you go. Here's the testimonies of hope. What time we got? Half past. Yeah, I'll leave it to you to read it, and hopefully for you to send forward your testimony. It's going to be printed at some stage quite soon, so send your testimony in. If it doesn't come in this year's edition, we'll get it in next year's edition. But do participate in the initiative. What do we have here? Opening doors to the AI revolution. So the key, I suppose, the key USP that we bring to churches is that, well, you guys know we're in a digital revolution, right? Churches ain't quite entertaining that yet, but I'm saying there's an AI revolution like knocking on the door. People outside the church are already engaged in AI, like aggressively. So I'm trying to get the church to take one step into digital, but really there's going to be another step into AI. So I'll be writing articles to explain what AI is and how I see the church becoming thought leaders in AI, in how we deploy AI to get people into the kingdom. Digital harvesting, again, is kind of an extension of that concept, right? How do we reap the rewards of technology? How do we harvest, you know, the digital realm to supply for our purposes? And it's quite an interesting article that talks about that. Yeah, I'm not here to promote anybody else, but there's a promotion here from Juliet Fletcher. She's got this song share platform that's just been launched. And yeah, I want to get her on the show to give you a full breakdown as to what that entails. So hopefully we'll get her on as a special guest and she will enlighten us. What you see on the right hand side here is what I call a hybrid church. So you've got in the center your in church picture. And then on either side, you have on demand church and online church. Each three of those are separate congregations that ministers, that church leaders, that pastors need to understand. They must always have this picture in their mind, and they have to cater for the free congregations. Onliners will be growing faster than in churches, guaranteed. Guaranteed. Look at the way money's going. Like before, when you go to church, you put your money in a little blessing slip. But now we're taking that money electronically. You're still passing around the slips, but it's becoming less and less used, because the younger people feel comfortable, with chip and pin, with pay via mobile phone, etc., etc. So we're providing best practices for churches to adopt in order to engage all three congregations, and therefore helping churches to grow. There's some figures that I was quoting earlier about, you know what, let me just quickly play this. It's probably too small for you guys to see, but it basically talks about, yeah, it basically illustrates how mentoring helps one particular role within the church. But as I say, it's a solution for everybody. Everybody gains from the solution that we've implemented. So you've seen that in person. Kingdom Ministry, Digital Shepherd. So yeah, that's the title I go by within my church, the Digital Shepherd. But I don't operate at church level. I'm operating at kingdom level, and we need more digital shepherds. The the intention of churchgoers is we are trying to empower the people who work in digital ministry. You might call them AV team or media team or whatever term you use, but we use the term digital ministry. We're trying to empower them to adopt our best practices, our blueprints to become more effective. And effectively, churchgoers is just the collaboration of all these digital ministry teams into a service to the kingdom at large. So my intention is not to build a big company, and for being no. This is this is how Christians should collaborate. We don't need to go down the traditional route. This is not something I'm doing to make money, because I come from an industry where money is. I've only ever worked for billionaires, put it that way. So I wouldn't go to the church that doesn't really have money to do things. I'm doing this because it's in my heart, because I want to give back to the community. So churchgoers is really the people you see in your church that I identify as being um, the digital ministry team. Okay, what else have we got? Digital fishers of men. Yes. So this is about online evangelism. This is showing you the concepts behind online evangelism. There's 5 billion people online plus. Yeah. So you still have your traditional, your conventional evangelism. We're not interfering with that. We're not criticizing it. We're just saying that we need to be everywhere. We need our foot soldiers and we need our digital soldiers. Yeah. Excuse me. So that article talks about that. And I mentioned the 88% exodus, which we have initiatives for, but we're also working with universities. So this particular university, London South Bank University, are doing a study. I can't remember the dates, but they're doing a study. If I'm right, I think it's like that. It's next week and the week after. They got one next week and one the week after. I'll give you the exact date before I close the platform here. Where all they're doing is a Zoom session. They want half a dozen or so people to volunteer 1 hour of their time. They will pay you for your time to discuss the challenges that students have um, in not returning to church, right? So if you have a child that's in university, or you intend to send your child from church to university and you want them to come back, then give LSBU 1 hour of your time. And they've got a way of they've got an academic way of just hosting these focus groups and telling you where you need to be, where the church needs to fix up in order to resolve this problem, because 88% is ridiculously high. All right, so if anybody's free or anybody's interested in that, please, please, please contact me and I will give you more details if I fail to do it at the end of this call. Okay, so that's what that's about. That's explaining on the left hand side, it's saying, well, we've got a network, we've got a LinkedIn group, we've got a WhatsApp community. Please join all of the above so that you'll be empowered with everything we're doing, because we're moving at pace. A lot of people, talking to me about things that I was doing last month. No, I move at pace. I launched something 1 month, and by the end of that month, I'm on to the next thing. you know I'm on to the next thing. The church is losing people at a huge rate. We used to be 96% UK Christian. In well, yeah, 96% used to identify as being UK Christian. The last census in 2021 said we're at 46%. So I can't hang back. we I need to get these solutions out there so that we can reverse this trend. There's my vision, or one of my visions, of what church should look like in the future. It's like we need to marry conventional with digital. And I want to speak to church leaders about how that manifests. But I'm a thought leader. God has blessed me in that way, and I've got some ideas. So this article kind of touches on the ideas I have. Valentine's Sunday. Yes, let's quickly talk about Valentine's Sunday. So I think on a few pages ago we talked about the book, the anthology book, right, which is a book of um, testimonies, which is evangelical. All right. But it's also your way of showing God, you know what? I really appreciate you get me out of that dilemma that I was in, you know. But some people are a little slow in coming forward with their testimonies, which I think is quite surprising. So as a last resort, I think, well, you know what? Valentine's is coming up. Let's do this petition to have Valentine's Sunday dedicated to God. So you can send God a quick 30-second message to say, you know what? I don't always show it, God, but on today, I'm going to show you that I do love you. And when I'm in church, I'm praying that, you can read my heart or whatever it is. Send him a message, send him something that, shows how you feel. And it's in the form of a petition because we want the government to officially nominate Valentine's Sunday as something that the UK or the kingdom and the UK dedicate to God. That's kind of what the petition element is. But as you can see there's a little graphic of a book, if you like, and it would have all your dedications in. So I'm publishing that. Well, not publishing it. I'm going to generate that book from all of your messages, and I'll show you the result of that hopefully next week. So do sign the petition. Do fill in the link that's in the petition so that your message goes onto that tribute, that Valentine's Sunday's tribute. And thank you for all the support, all the Valentine's messages I got today regarding that idea. As with Kingdom Operate, we have to think out of the box, in order to get momentum going in some of these initiatives. We're on the Lunch and Learn, so you guys obviously know what the Lunch and Learn is. But we are going onto a proper podcasting platform. I am using my church's Zoom facilities to broadcast these, but as soon as I get a day or two free, I'm gonna up my game and get all the equipment, not just the headphones, get all the equipment, and we're going proper podcasting because the whole idea of these broadcasts is that you learn. It's lunch, learn, and pray. So the book is my way of teaching you how to launch a book online for no money. The podcast is how do you launch your podcast, hopefully for kingdom purposes. Everything I do is educational. It's just that I'm not just going to give you the theory, I'm going to show you it. Everything I do is starting from scratch. This is how you do this. This is how you do this. Theory and practical. We're kingdom players. All right. So, churchgoers prayer for digital ministry. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I have some. I do. I'm not the world's best group player, man. But let me just read a little bit of the prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, right? Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the gifts, talent, and anointing you have bestowed upon your digital shepherds in the kingdom. Thank you for entrusting us with your assignment to use those gifts and talents to advance your kingdom. Thank you for granting us continued health and wisdom to progress kingdom endeavors. And thank you for the vision, insight, belief, and perseverance you have instilled in your digital shepherds in guiding the kingdom online. Right? So that's our prayer to God. But we also pray that the church does something, and I ain't got time to read it out. And we also pray that the believers come on board. Right? So I'm gonna have to find a way of condensing that prayer a little bit shorter so that it fits in with our schedule. But do read that because that's the only way I can pray. I kind of have to write it down. It doesn't it doesn't flow when I'm in church because we got some power prayers and people that can pray me off the stage, man. And it's too much pressure for me, man. I can't pray, in a group in a church. I need to be just on my little prayer mat in my room, and me and God have we call them consultations, and this whole platform has been as a result of the consultations that I've had with God. Another little, for those who don't know, the platform is powerful. It's extensive because it has to solve a lot of problems: youth and education, economic development, church and the community, um, the environment. There's a lot of things that need solving. A lot of things that need solving. So the platform is extensive because I was asked, how would I solve all these problems? So there's an app that's our flagship. Well, it's flipped over to the app, right? So I think I was more or less at the end of that magazine anyway. But the app is our flagship product. We've got a website, we've got a knowledge base, We got all kind of utilities for, depending on whether you're a believer, a worshiper, whether you work in digital ministry, or whether you are a church leader. Churchgoers is a powerful, powerful, powerful concept. Right. Let me just go back to the app. Actually, let me just see if there's anyone in the house that wants to ask questions. Motorola M02. Anybody want to ask the questions that they can do so now? I am coming to the end of today's session because we have something going on in our church that I need to be a party of. Any questions in the house? I'm willing to take them now. Otherwise, no takers. Is there anything on here that I want people to? Let's just. Okay. Let me just play this one for you, just
We
in
live in a
case.
digital world where over 5 billion people are connected on the internet. But how do we unite, collaborate, communicate, or even fellowship online? Well, now there's ChurchGOers, which helps UK churches and believers to unite on their ecumenical faith network, which features messaging, articles, polls, e-meets, and events. It's organized into topics, groups, and forums, so you can unite at church, district, denominational, or kingdom level. Moreover, the key purpose of ChurchGOers is to encourage churches to be centers of excellence in digital ministry and service delivery to their local community. It hosts blueprints and a knowledge base of benchmark quality standards for church excellence. Christians are encouraged to be distinguished too by being role model mentors, helping others with similar career aspirations, but also to be digital evangelists taking advantage of the internet's global outreach. Let's unite in God's excellence on churchgoers.mn.co.
Yeah, and I miss my AI. My last year, I had some powerful AIs that were working for me. For whatever reason, I haven't got their services this year. Yeah, so these are just some of the. When you go onto the app, you will see, you will see content, but you will see that I've tried to put a few videos that explain, how we put this all together. It needs a bit more. It needs a bit more. I think what it does is quite self-explanatory, but I've been told it needs a little bit more. A little bit more information for you guys to fully understand the power that's there. There's one other thing that I said I was going to do. What was that? Okay, so how you get on board the platform, right? The main thing is I'm looking for ambassadors, right? So how do you get on the platform? So we have this form, right, which takes 60 to 90 seconds to fill in. which you saw at the beginning of this presentation. We call it the skills matrix, right? You fill in your name and what age group you come in, what church you go to, what your education level is, what your particular skills are, etc. And once you fill that form in within a day, you are onboarded onto the platform. But we want you to spread the love. This is a kingdom solution to the problems, right? 46% UK Christian. But if you look at it from the outside, all of a sudden, a church is no longer someone who's trying to sell you, uh, you know, heaven, if you like, or eternal life. It's like we don't necessarily have to sell. Uh, we don't necessarily have to get people into the kingdom using that conventional route. People kind of are a lot more informed now. All the information you need is on the internet. So for you to tell people about the Bible, well, they already have access to the Bible and all the information they need. You kind of need to be a bit more uh, calculated about how you get certain people into the kingdom. And I'm saying, if you look at church, we're extending the breadth of services that the church offers to the community. Mentoring being one, training being the other. We're going to be offering training online and in person, not just on not just on theology, but on technology, on business, on entrepreneurship. So the church is just going to be the proper heart, the proper cornerstone of the community. And thereafter, when they see the power that's in the church without you even evangelizing, they're going to want to become a member of the kingdom. At the moment, if from the outside looking in, the kind of thing is the church is a sleeping giant. The church is, they're very derogatory about how they see the church. They see the church as a backward organization. And to a certain degree, I can't I can't present a counter argument because we're behind in technology, way behind. When I say way behind, we are 2,000 years old. We're a 2,000-year-old organization, and we have 2.3 billion people across the globe. Social media is only 25 years old. They have more followers than we. They've achieved more in 25 years, and some of them 10 years, some of them 8 years, than we have achieved in 2,000 years. So when they say we're backward, I'm not giving them a counter argument, but I'm saying I'm here now and I am a digital ambassador. And I'm saying I understand the power of technology, the power of infrastructure, the power of how to mobilize an organization because I've been doing it all my life. And my covenant with God is I'm going to elevate the kingdom so that they are going toe to toe with any counter organization, any counter religion, or any counter organization that's getting too much of their fair share of their people. And social media is knocking it out the park. We need to do something that brings the people back into the kingdom. All right, so that's my speech for the day. For those gentlemen, right? Maybe I shouldn't be making speeches like this, but let me just stop sharing and go back to the main screen. For those gentlemen who do not know it's Valentine's Day today, I strongly recommend you go down to the local confectionery, get your box of chocolates in, get your flowers from the florist, and even if you have to go down to the corner shop and get a shiny Dutch pot and bring that home and wrap that up with some ribbons and make sure you deliver that, and book the restaurant and do what you need to do to make today a celebration. Happy Valentine's to those that are entertaining that day. And as I say, Valentine's Sunday, right? So when Sunday come, remember we've got a campaign to make that the day when we acknowledge God, because remember God is love, right? So anytime you use the word love, you have to be thinking about God. So that's my word for you today. Thank you for your attendance. Thank you for your audience. Thank you for your messages, and thank you for your blessings. And I'll be praying for you all And same time next week. All right. All right. Bye for now.